Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this webinar. I'm Alexandra Suzanne Greenawalt, and I have the fabulous Tracy Matthews with us today, and we're going to be talking about the 4 most important principles to promoting your business online. So, hi, Tracy.
Hi, Alexandra. Thank you so much for having me today. It's great to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. I wanted to have Tracy because Tracy is so uber talented. She has so many talents and skills and gifts in this world, and she has made and thrived despite having, multiple passions, multiple outlets, multiple businesses, and I really think that she's an inspiration to us all in how to channel what you're really good at, and also flourish and nurture different avenues of your passion. So not only is she an eco luxurious custom jewelry designer, I mean, that's enough. Okay, that's a lot.
I love it. Eco luxurious. I love the way you describe it.
Of course, it's very luxurious and eco-friendly. So she has this fantastic custom jewelry business, and then she also, smart girl, created a program for other budding jewelry designers, and it's called Flourish and Thrive. She does it with a partner, right? They're still a partner?
Yeah, Robin Creamer, Flourish&Thrive Academy.
Yes, so she's taken those 2 passions and she's got those going. And then on top of it, you're still teaching yoga, right?
Actually, I just resigned after I recovered from my torn calf muscle. I was on medical leave for a couple months and decided that 2 businesses was enough because both are booming so much that it was time to let go of the third.
Yeah. But
I taught yoga for about 12 years. So
wow. So I'm sure there was a time when you were figuring out your core message.
There definitely was.
Where you were doing multiple things, and how did you figure out where to
figure out what my core message was?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a process of discovery, I would definitely say. I had a wholesale jewelry business that was more in the bridge market for about 12 years. I've been designing jewelry for over 20 years. And when I decided that business was no longer serving me in multiple ways, I just decided that it was time to move on to something new. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to start this custom jewelry business. But as we all know, it takes time to build a business. So in the interim, I started teaching a lot more yoga classes than I had before. So with that process, when I decided to shut down my first business, I really took the time to get really clear on what it is that I wanted for my life and what I wanted it to look like, the type of income I wanted to make, the kinds of people that I wanted to work with. And by doing that, I started to get clear kind of like on who the kind of clients that I wanted to work with as far as custom design goes. Because when I first started this, I was just kind of taking everyone and quickly realized that everyone is not really my ideal.
So you learned to say no.
I did learn to say no, and also guide people in a way, and set parameters and boundaries for my work, because what I'm really offering as far as my custom jewelry business goes is a service for people who want something that they don't really know exactly what it's going to look like. They're not people who are shopping off the racks. They're really people who want to create something unique and personal and special to them. Mm-hmm. So it's nice because I get to work with people on really momentous occasions in their lives. Usually they start with me when they're getting married or engaged, so that's awesome. And then hopefully they're a customer for life. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so then when I closed down Tracy Matthews Designs, I was able to look sort of at that business in retrospect and kind of understand and realize all the mistakes I'd made that kind of led to my decision to close it down. And that was sort of the impetus that spawned Flourish and Thrive Academy. If you would have asked me 4 years ago that I was going to be a mentor to a community of over 3,000 jewelry designers, I would have thought you were like
insane.
Yeah, insane. I was about to use another term, but
wackadoo.
But I would have thought you were crazy. You know what I mean? Like, just it wasn't something that was on my radar at all. But through this process of like really getting clear on my core message and understanding like who I was marketing to, and who my ideal or dream, we call them in Flourish and Thrive Academy, dream clients were, that really enabled me to be able to get really clear on my business and have really great results with profitability. So now that's what I teach to my jewelry design students.
Yeah.
Or not jewelry design students, jewelry business students.
Yeah. I know you mentioned the word journey, and I think it's so great you mentioned that, because in my business, when I got more specialized in my journey, and again, it was based on discovering who I didn't like working with, because I was in that, very glamorous photo shoot world and working with very, very established, famous people. But it wasn't feeding my soul. It didn't make me glow. And it was very misaligned with my core message. So when I found the opportunity to rebrand and rethink about where I wanted to be, I decided that being in the personal styling business, that was the type of work that it felt so good when I did it. I loved the thank you notes. I loved the one-on-one work. And so figuring out that core message, a lot of which was controversial. A lot of times I'm very outspoken about how against what is going on in fashion I am. But I think that's what makes me really good at what I do, is because the real woman can really relate. And so, that's why.
That's so true though. Right?
Totally, totally. So, and then the second big thing that I think is so important in this day and age of, promoting yourself and elevating yourself to an expert status is visibility. I mean, I know that when I started out, I was petrified to be seen online. I started a blog, and I had it password protected. Like no one could.
You had a password protected blog?
Yes, because I
You're like, you can read my blog if you have the password.
Right, but I gave the password to no one. And so I would write all this stuff and no one would see it. But the thing is that, I laugh about it now, but it was part of the process of becoming more and more comfortable with being seen and being online and, having my face on camera, having my face on the web and being everywhere. I mean, there's times where I still look at videos that I've done and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still blinking. And I know that I still have work to do around being 100% comfortable with being 100% visible. But I have seen the positive effects. I've seen just in like SEO being super visible on Google, how much that's skyrocketed my business. And just yesterday, I was talking to my copywriter, Nikki Groom, and she told me that she had talked to another stylist, and when she had mentioned, I work with Alexandra Greenawalt, the other stylist had said, oh my God, she's everywhere. And I was just like, so flattered. So flattered. So were there any, times in your business where, like, what do you think about visibility?
I don't know that I was ever afraid to be visible. This whole online thing is still pretty new to me. I mean, I've kind of been in the online world for about 4 years. We were talking about it since I've closed that other business. But even when I had my first jewelry business, you could probably find it somewhere online, my first blog. I think it was called Tracy Matthews Designs, which was the name of my other business. But I also have a blog out there somewhere. I tried to take it down, but I couldn't figure out the password. and I had shut down those email addresses so that I couldn't reset it. And they won't, so it's there forever,
Yeah.
It was kind of sort of in between like a blog about jewelry and a personal blog, because I was beginning to teach a lot of yoga, and I was kind of talking about my journey there. And I feel quite comfortable actually being in front of the camera, and I would say sort of like being out there in the world with blogging and stuff like that. So I would say my challenge now, especially with growing this Flourish and Thrive business, is finding enough sort of like partners who are in the same sort of niche area to kind of get visible with, if that makes sense.
Who are on your level and want to do this sort of fun stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that's a challenge for me too, because there's other entrepreneurs that I look up to, but are maybe more advanced or have, are bigger or more like celebrities in our world. So a lot of times what I went through is in picking affiliates. I made a big list, and there were definitely people on the list that I was afraid to ask or maybe didn't ask. And the thing that surprised me was that even though it was scary, I found that getting the answer was like better than not getting an answer or not asking.
Right. It's true. They always say, like, you'll never get a yes if you don't ask. You might get a no, but you'll never get a yes if you don't ask.
Right. And just working through even being amicable and okay with hearing a no,
Yeah.
because it's part of business, And I know you're online and you're in a lot of places. Like, how did you go about picking your outposts, like picking where you were going to look for your people?
Well, we did a lot of research. I mean, for my jewelry business is very different. The people who come to me, it's very organic. I would say up until recently, most of my business had been like pretty much 100% referral, or I would say like 85. It was very random. People just like found me online. It was
right.
Referrals could be anything like seeing a class opportunity or a blog post that was written about my jewelry or something like that. But
were you doing any outreach? Were you doing any like advertising?
I think some partnerships actually with people in aligned industries. Like I remember I did a partnership with sort of almost like I wrote a blog, or I can't remember exactly how it went down, but she wrote an email, and we also bounced it back with a blog post about colored stone engagement rings. Mm-hmm. And it was Your Bella Life, Nitika Chopra's site, and she, I got a bunch of referrals from that. We worked out like this partnership sort of deal. I worked with Sarah Jenks once, and when she had the Breathtaking Bride, because she was a health coach for brides who were getting married, or whatever. And that worked really well. Same sort of situation. We did this sort of like partnership deal. So those they're almost like affiliate partnerships, but it's not really an affiliate situation. The arrangement's a little bit different.
So it's like
but that definitely helps grow exposure.
So it's like a freelance partnership.
It's a what?
Like a freelance partnership.
Oh yeah, something. Yeah. I call them partnerships. I don't know how else to do it.
Yeah.
And recently I've been talking to a few wedding blogs. We're just trying to work out kind of how it's going to roll out. I'm not really a big pay for advertising person because I don't necessarily think that it's effective. And I actually don't advise it necessarily for my jewelry designers. I think it works if you have a big advertising budget and you're a big brand, but sometimes smaller brands, like the budget's so limited that to make a real impact, you have to have a lot of money behind it. So
even with Facebook ads, because I found Facebook ads to be really inexpensive and pretty effective.
For certain things, like we do Facebook ads sometimes when we're launching a program with Flourish&Thrive, because it makes sense. But I haven't really tried it with my jewelry business. Yeah. I'm so busy, I can't even really take on like an influx of clients right now. So.
Right.
It's kind of like...
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I find that with my private clients, they find me pretty organically through the web, through Google. And most times, they're either ready or they're not ready. And the ones that are ready go in and fill out my questionnaire, and they really appreciate that it's long and detailed. And the person that's not ready writes a very short, email. But so outpost wise, where do you find is effective social media wise for you to
social media wise? Well, I didn't finish my thought. I was just gonna do this. So for Flourish&Thrive, we did do like special partnerships with people in aligned industries, and that's been really effective. It helped us sort of like get our name out there, and we're still building. I feel like we're in the very nascent stages of growing this business. We typically use mostly, we're tweeting all the time and connecting with people on Twitter, especially for Flourish and Thrive Academy. For jewelry and stuff like that like as a visual thing. I don't know that Twitter is really that effective because you can't see a picture. You know, it's more about passing along messages and talking to people. But I really am loving Instagram because it's visual, and Facebook has always been great because I'm a visual person, and I think that's why I'm drawn to those social media sites.
Yeah, I've been really drawn to Pinterest lately. Pinterest has been really, really powerful for my business.
Yeah.
Because I can build boards for my private clients. They often have never been on Pinterest, so I'm introducing them to Pinterest. And it's like a new shiny thing that I've introduced them to. And then I'm also finding that Pinterest, it just grows very quickly, very organically. And it does send me good traffic. Definitely good traffic.
That's great. I actually did get an engagement ring client. They found me on Pinterest. I was shocked. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, the people that love Pinterest, they tell me, they're like, I'm obsessed with Pinterest. I can't get off it. It combines all my favorite things, stalking and shopping. And, you know, the women that really love it. And the other thing about Pinterest is it's so many women. It's really female-centered. And so for us who are in, you know, our target market is female.
So true.
It's not male.
So true.
So I think, you know, for someone who's just starting out their online presence, I know that doing all this social media can feel super, super overwhelming.
Totally overwhelming.
So I always suggest to people, you know, pick one that energetically and time-wise and vibe-wise feels like you're gonna be in the right pond and you're gonna find your people, you know, and just pick one.
That's a great idea.
Just start small, because we all get kind of overwhelmed, like, oh, I have to be tweeting and I have to be Facebooking, I'm going to be Instagramming, and I have to check in on Foursquare, and then all of a sudden you're not really doing anything with your time except for social media.
That's so true.
So, and then the last thing that I want to touch on is you are what you wear, which of course, you know, as a stylist, I'm going to be...
We have to talk about that, right?
A big fan of, you know, what to wear. And I know that personally, just experimenting with my own look, I found that when I moved away from dressing like a boho hipster, which was very in the moment and very Williamsburg appropriate, but I was also starving. You know, I always felt starving. And then when I moved more towards elegant, classy, more of a Manhattan lady, my business really, really changed, and I started to attract the right type of client, because I really started thinking, okay, how does my ideal client, what do they want to see me wearing? What are they going to find inspiring? And so many times I cater each outfit with each client to what do they need to learn from me, like what needs to inspire them. So, I mean, I feel like I'm living proof of it.
That's awesome.
I'd love to hear from you any experience with...
Well, I've always kind of been an eclectic dresser.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it better than that, but I like all sorts of things. Like, I mix really high-end stuff with not so high-end stuff. And, like, for instance, the other night when my sister was here, I pulled out this great, like, bustier top that I bought, like, 7 years ago that I forgot was even in my closet, but they happened to match these, like, maroon burgundy pants that I had just bought. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I love mixing old and new.
Yeah.
And, in fact, it's, like, really part of my branding anyway, because that's what I do for my jewelry business, is mix old with the new, oftentimes, because I repurpose vintage and heirloom stones all the time. With Flourish&Thrive Academy, you know, like the whole branding and everything over there is very bright. So Robin and I, when we're doing video shoots or we're going to be on camera, we definitely try to wear a lot of color, because it works with the look and feel of the site and what we're trying to energetically put out there, which is, I don't know, something about bright colors just kind of makes you feel good. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But if I was always wearing black or white on camera, it just would be kind of boring and not exciting. But, like, I try to just wear a lot of color, especially when I'm promoting things for that.
I'm just pulling up your site here where it is very bright. Can you see that?
It is. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. Love
Pimping
that.
out our 20 sales in 20 days challenge.
Well, that's great to hear that it's really a strategic move for you guys.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I think
it's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think strategy is, you know, when you really sit down and think about how do I want to be seen, how do I want to be perceived, that only leads to more greatness. And that's kind of the core of you know, what I'm building right now with Six Figure Style.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you is, can you tell me a little bit more about Six Figure Style and what are we going to learn in Six Figure Style, girl?
So I think of it as a very in-depth crash course in style essentials for the modern power entrepreneur, the woman that is, you know, trailblazing and essentially an expert or becoming an expert. So we're going to cover things like, how do you even define your style? How do you start, you know, defining your image and your core message? We're also going to go into the very nitty-gritty of, you know, how do you dress for a Skype interview? How do you dress for an on-camera appearance, whether it's in a studio or it's in your house? We're going to talk about, you know, what to wear on stage if you have a public appearance. It's really meant to be a very comprehensive program dealing with style and branding and where they intersect and making sure, yes, you look like your picture on your website. And,
I know, right?
You know,
seriously.
You look like, you know, that every time you are seen, whether it's online or in person, you look like you and that message is right.
I think that's such a key point that you made because we have this meetup for a bunch of the designers and they're like, oh my God, you look like, well, actually they were very complimentary. They're like, you look so much even better than the pictures on your website. But
yeah.
I think it's important that when you show up, you know, wherever you are, that you look like the expert because that helps you.
Yeah.
Help people trust you.
Yeah.
If I were to show up places in sweats, you know, I have actually had some of my yoga students contract me or hire me actually to design for them. And I've been in sweats and sweaty hair. But I can tell you honestly, like, my clients don't necessarily come from the gym because, like, it's hard to trust someone who's, like, all sweaty and wearing gym clothes. You know, it's like, usually when I'm, you know, in fact, I ended up meeting someone at a dinner party who became a client. But, you know, I was, like, dressed up and dressing the part. I have another question for you about this course. Which I think is great.
Well, just before you ask me that question, you mentioned offline, and that's actually a big part of the program because I touch on things like your business cards, takeaways, gifting, you know, all this other stuff that again is an extension of your brand. So really, it's kind of style branding crash course.
Awesome. So how are you going to deliver all this information?
Oh, so everything is in video format. So I have a password protected membership site. So you would log on to the site, you'd get to watch the videos at your own pace. Although I'm going to have, you know, release a week at a time just so it doesn't get overwhelming because there are 22 videos. It is not a tiny little program. It is a robust.
That's great.
It's really, really robust. And then it has worksheets and downloads and weekly Google Hangouts so you can ask questions, and also the VIP part of the membership also includes one-on-one time with me, which I realized going through it is that sometimes, as much as you can self-study something, you need an expert's eye. And so I realized, I'm like, I can't take myself too much out of the process. I have to get one-on-one time with people.
Absolutely. So in the Google Hangouts, will the entrepreneurs be able to talk to you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's meant to be
so it's like almost like group coaching and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's meant to be group coaching. They're going to be able to like share links. There's going to be a lot of interaction. It won't just be, because I was thinking about it, I was like, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense for us to get on the phone. it makes sense for us to see each other and to show
Because you can like hold up, you know, your outfit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I can model things. I can be like, see how these earrings, they look great on Skype, but you know, in person, they're really a little gauche.
You are so funny.
No, but like most of the jewelry I wear in real life is way too small.
You wear small stuff.
Yeah, I wear small stuff, and it doesn't translate on camera. And I've sort of learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, remember I asked you, the first thing I said is you're not wearing those usual earrings that I love. Because you have those like rose-cut earrings that I love.
Yes,
I love rose-cut diamonds.
India. Oh my God, I love those. But yeah.
So I hear you're offering an early bird special. Are there bonuses, and what's going on with this early bird situation?
Oh yes. So I want to reward people that sign up early because I love early birds. I'm an early bird myself, and essentially the first, I've decided I might be a little bit lenient, but the first 5 people to sign up are going to get, in addition to all these other great things, they're also going to get a media audit with me. So I will look at every single place that you are online and give you comments and critique, constructive criticism and tips about, you know, what to do so that you are consistent everywhere online and offline.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about the program?
Well, you can go to sixfiguresstyle.com. That's the web address. And get on the interest list. And that will allow you again to, you know, get sent more information. And then if you want to just directly check out the full description of the course, you can go to sixfiguresstyle/sales-page. So I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but there it is, /sales-page. So I'm really excited about it, you know.
Great. Well, I'm definitely going to check it out, and I can't wait to share this with my audience too, because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to be consistent and update their look.
Awesome. Yay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the call today and sharing
this was so fun.
Your wisdom and knowledge and glamour and style.
Thank you so much for having me, Alexandra.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks so much. See you guys next time. Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.